We will live in an Orwellian society. So how do we avoid that? You ever see that movie Brazil? Where, like, everybody's there, like, typing all the,
A time ago, yeah.
and then a fly comes in and, like, gets caught in the typewriter and goes Tuk, and, like, it says the name of the wrong person, and then all of a sudden, like, 2 minutes later, you see this, like, SWAT team of people coming in and attacking this guy. And he had, like, the wrong name. He had, like, an R instead of an E in his name or something. Anyway, the whole movie's about this. It's hilarious if you haven't seen it. Brazil. We will live in an Orwellian society. So how do we avoid that?
Well, so I'm gonna interpret back, because it sounds like what you're asking is the difference between, do we see people as the focus, and again, how do we help them perform well and be good human beings and be beneficial parts of society, or do we look at those people as cogs in the machine, and the only focus is to try to extract as much value as possible, even at the individual level? I happen to lean heavily towards the former, because I believe, and again, studies out there show that if you create the right environment and you help people be successful, you actually get higher levels of performance. Ultimately, in that Orwellian situation, what you're doing is you're measuring so that you can be really, really precise about that minimum requirements line. Carrot versus the stick, I guess.
Yeah. No, I that distinction is critical that you make. I mean, that's the basic fundamental values position. And I think that has huge implications. The notion of all this false precision in some of these performance. So let me just pick two things out of what you said, Keith, which is total. I mean, and I'm not picking on you at all. It's just that, like, people have repeated these things so many times in HR that doesn't come to believe them. If you're working with people where and that failure rate of 70%, 80%, whatever, a major change. Setting expectations is a trust thing. That's something that's just become accepted, that there's that much noise. That's a lot of noise. And now you're talking about being able to distinguish between, okay, you're in, you're in the ninth percentile, we'll let you go, and you're in the 11th percentile, we want to keep you. And it's ridiculous. If that's not enough, I'll give you another one that really gets me going, which is incentive design.
I was going to say incentives. Yeah.
Incentive design this is the one I really, because gold standard here. You want to incentivize the individual contribution to increasing the outcome, the group outcome. You take something like, the value of a basketball player. It's what's going to happen, what's most likely to happen when they're in the game versus not in the game. Similarly, for part of the team versus not part of the team, because many times you'll have players that don't actually get much playing time, but they may be the person that, by being able to practice against that person, then, the star.
$500 a ticket is worth it, right?
Yeah, $500 a ticket is cheap, because that's both equitable and motivating, because you're motivating people to actually increase the score. That's what you want to try to do.